Good for him. Now, I said Summer's almost here. In actual fact, she is here. West End sensation Summer Strallen, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
And I have to say, looking amazing. And bearing in mind you were performing last night.
I was, yes.
That's quite a feat, because you couldn't have had much more than, what, 8 hours sleep, 7 hours sleep?
Five
hours
yeah.
sleep.
I only got back about 11:30, so I'm a bit matchsticks, but I'm all right.
For you. Now, Summer, of course, Summer Strallen is where life and art collide. Let me explain. Summer famously played Summer Shaw in Hollyoaks 2 years ago, but left when her character decided to follow her dream of starring in a West End show, which is exactly what the real Summer did, taking over from Connie Fisher as Maria in The Sound of Music. So was this all coincidence, or was it a plan even before Hollyoaks?
It was all planned,
It was a plan.
I basically went for the audition for The Sound of Music, not knowing anything to do with Hollyoaks or anything. I didn't have a clue. And because they didn't want anyone else to know that was what they were planning. And I went into Hollyoaks in, I don't know, the September, not knowing when I was going into Sound of Music or anything. It was all big secret. And then, obviously, it was announced that Connie was leaving in the March, so I was then going to take over. And yeah, no one knew at Hollyoaks for about 4 months.
I mean, it is a fantastic... I don't know what the right word is. Prank?
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
because
well,
it is art and life
stunt,
colliding,
I guess.
Yeah, that can be confusing for a lot of people. Watching us something and all merging into real.
It was, trust me. I mean, people thought that I was crazy because in the programme I had to, you know, go up to Andrew and was singing the Phantom of the Opera in the middle of Oxford Street. You know, it was awful. There were people sort of coming up to me saying, "Sing The Sound of Music." And I don't normally do that in the street, you know. But yeah, so it was fun.
Well, Summer, of course, is now starring in the Phantom sequel, Love Never Dies. She plays the part of Meg Geary, the character was very much part of the original musical,
yeah,
wasn't it?
she's Christine Dyer is the main, obviously the main role in Phantom 1, and she is her best friend basically, and she gets. Meg is taken with her mother and the Phantom to Coney Island, where it's now set 10 years on, and yeah, and she becomes a showgirl, you know, from being a ballet girl in the Paris Opera 10 years before with Christine, and then Christine becomes a diva. Yeah. She's becomes a showgirl, and it's a very, very different show from the first one.
Well, which leads us on to this question about reviews. I've never been so confused by what I've read about one play, performance, musical in my life. So we started off with previews where audience members or theatre fans were going, and they gave it quite a hard time. What was it? Paint Never Dries, wasn't it? Was one. And then the professional critics go in, who you thought might be sharpening up their lives to carve up another Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, and by and large they loved it. And then since the critics, everybody seems to love it.
Yeah. I think it's just sort of general consensus, isn't it? I mean, the music's fantastic, and the story is so great as well. Yeah, I think.
I mean, does it disorientate you as a performer that you have some people saying they don't like it, then the critics come in saying they do like it, and then everybody agreeing they like it?
Well, to be honest, because I've been involved for so long, I did the CD as well. Andrew asked me to do that, which is why I was involved. I've got such a love for it myself now, because from being part of the creative process, you know, with the writers and Andrew, you know, so I wasn't really that bothered about whether the reviews are going to be good or not, because I, you know, have such a, you know, have conviction for it, so I just believe in it.
Absolutely do, sorry.
Sheila Hancock said this week that a lot of actors and critics are sort of terribly snooty about musicals.
But she's just gone into Sister Act, hasn't she?
Yeah, exactly, which is a great show, actually. I loved it. Yeah. But is there a point in that? Are people kind of sniffy in the industry?
The critics-wise?
No, I meant in terms of performers, because I have heard a lot of people saying, no, I'm in a musical, but, you know, I normally do straight plays.
I think a lot of actors, you know, people who just call themselves actors, yes, might go into a musical with a bit of sort of, you know, oh, well, I'm just doing it as a stopgap.
Sheila Hancock's point was that she gets 4,000 bums on seats every single night.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily going to get that with a straight play.
With a play.
Absolutely.
Oh, and also it's so much fun.
Totally.
You know, everyone in musicals are so much fun, and I think they are. I hate to say it, you know, because I'm in musical theatre, but I also like, you know, I'm an actor. You know, I sing and I dance and I act all at the same time. So I think they shouldn't be too snooty about it.
Totally.
And your aunt was Bonnie Langford. Well,
Yes.
is Bonnie Langford. And so did that mean, was it inevitable that you'd end up on stage? Were you brought up in a very...
Well, my mother and father were both performers as well.
Oh,
so
it's very
my
musical
grandmother had
family.
a dancing school. I mean, it was kind
Yeah.
of... you know,
No way out.
My dad was a builder.
My dad worked for Woolworths.
Hey, I love Woolworths.
If only it was still with us. Now, one last question. It's the question that everybody here wants to know the answer to.
Yeah.
Are you going to go back to Hollyoaks?
I never say never.
Very good answer. Very politic. Listen, great to have you here,
Thank
as
you for
usual.
having me.
Likewise, you guys at home.